Channel is called Lux Living for Less, and on this channel we try to find tips and tricks on how to still live a fabulous lifestyle on a for less budget. So by the title, you already know that this is a recap of my Paris trip. My husband and I went to Paris to celebrate our 22nd wedding anniversary and coincidentally his birthday. We got married on his birthday 22 years ago in 2001. If you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, then you've heard me mention that Paris was on my international bucket list of places to travel. Last year, on my luxury wish list of things I wanted to accomplish or things I wanted to happen in 2023, I mentioned that Paris was on my list actually to travel in 2022. The next thing on my luxury wish list for 2022 is to travel internationally. You guys, with the exception of a cruise I went on to the Bahamas, I have never traveled internationally, ever. And it has always been on my list of things to do. My dream vacation is to spend a week in Paris. Let's see if we can make that happen. But because we built the pool and we spent out a whole bunch of money that we did not anticipate, we kind of had to put it on the back burner. And in that video, I said, let's try to see if we can make it happen for 2023. We did. So without further ado, let's get started. So my husband and I chose to fly out of Jacksonville International Airport. Now, I know if you're in Jacksonville, a lot of people choose to travel to Orlando because it is a bigger airport. So the fares are a little bit less expensive. We opted not to do that because when we factored in what we would spend for gas, what we would spend to park our car, the parking fees, and just all of the things, I just wasn't going to do it. I wasn't here for it. It was not an option. So flying into Paris, we flew into Charles de Gaulle Airport. If you have ever flown to Paris, or if you plan on flying to Paris, that airport is probably one of the prettiest airports I have ever seen. It literally is an entire mall in the airport. First of all, it is a huge airport. If you ever flown into JFK, it's probably JFK times 3. It's a huge airport, but it's beautiful. There's a mall in the airport. Now, Paris does have, just like any other major airport, they do have the, like if you've ever flown into JFK, you know they have taxi drivers. Some are legit taxi drivers, and some of them are just people that's acting in an Uber capacity, but not Uber, if you know what I mean. So those people will charge you a higher rate. However, the thing is, you would want to make sure that you are booking transportation from the airport to the hotel with an actual taxi driver, and it'll have taxi or whatever on their car because the rates are flat. It was 62 euros to travel from the airport to the hotel, and it was a long commute, y'all. It was about 45 minutes. So I felt that 62 euros was pretty fair. We stayed in the Pullman Eiffel Tower Tour Hotel. Now, this hotel is known for its spectacular view of the Eiffel Tower. The view is literally adjacent to the Eiffel Tower. You literally can sit out on your balcony if you pay for a balcony room. Let me just say that. At night, you can sit on your balcony and watch the light show of the Eiffel Tower, or just sit out on your balcony and just watch the traffic, the city, the people just going about their business. The room itself, we booked a standard room. We didn't get a suite or anything like that. The room itself was pretty standard for a Parisian room. It was kind of small, not too small, but it was enough space for the two of us to navigate. But there really wasn't anything special about the room. It was very industrial looking. The room was very clean. I will say that the room was very clean, but it was very standard. But as I said, for this particular hotel, what you are paying for is the view. So if you stay at this particular hotel, unless you book a suite or a room that is on another tier, then your room is going to be pretty standard, and some might consider a little bit underwhelming. But I enjoyed the stay. The staff, extremely hospitable. I mean, their service was second to none. This hotel had a rooftop. We didn't get to go to the rooftop because we were just tired, child. We were just tired. We had extreme jet lag. You know, there's a 6-hour time difference from the East Coast. The hotel has a full restaurant. It has a full bar. And again, the staff was simply amazing. My particular rep, her name was Indy. I think that's her name, Indy. So when I made the reservation, I made a note that it was our anniversary and my husband's birthday. When we checked in, she said, "Happy birthday and happy anniversary." I had completely forgotten that I had made a note about that on the reservation. Later on that evening, we were in the room. She sent up champagne. She sent that up to us in celebration for my husband's birthday and our anniversary. She also sent it up with a mashed potatoes. I got a salad, a mixed salad with mine. He did not get a salad. He doesn't like salad. So I think he got an extra vegetable or something. But when I tell y'all that steak was so good and those mashed potatoes, my God. One thing I will say that I noticed about the Parisian people or French people overall is they don't like processed food. So you can definitely taste how much fresher their food is from what's mass produced here in America. Everything is fresh. Like even the ingredients on the pizza, the tomato sauce is made in house. The mozzarella that they use on the pizza is for everything is fresh. Nothing is out of a can, and you can definitely taste that, and I can appreciate that. Now, piggybacking on that, my husband and I, probably about the end of day 2, we started to notice, we were like, is it me or we don't see any overweight people here? Y'all, I'm not gonna sit up here and say that there weren't people that were overweight, like a little thicker like me, that looked like they could stand to lose a few pounds, you know, like myself. However, I will definitely say probably about 90% of the people that we saw, their physique was trim, slim. You just did not see, for lack of a better way to say it, an overweight population. And I will contribute that to their eating and their active lifestyle, because they are always outside. They're always riding bikes. They're always walking. They're always like, as we were walking the streets of Paris, so many people were out jogging, exercising. It seems like that is like their way of life, and it definitely showed in their physique. Our tour of the Eiffel Tower. This was the thing that I was most excited about doing. I have had this obsession with the Eiffel Tower for as long as I can remember. And I've said this before, if you know me in real life, then you know that Paris was, child, I was going to Paris, okay? And I was going to that good Eiffel Tower. Y'all, when we got to the Eiffel Tower, first of all, that was a fiasco within itself, because we paid for a guided tour, a private guided tour. It wasn't private in the sense of my husband and I, but it was private in the sense of it was a small group of people that was led by a guide. Now that was worth it because you didn't have to wait in any line. But y'all, when you pay for your ticket where you have to meet your tour guide, imagine being a tourist and you're trying to find where you're meeting somebody and you already don't know where the hell you're going. Child, I can look back on it and laugh now, but we almost missed that tour, because if you're late and your tour has already started, then child, you just missed it. Ain't no getting your money back. You just got to book it for the next day. We were 2 minutes late. Luckily, our tour guide was a little bit late, so we really was right on time. The Lord was on our side that day. But getting into the Eiffel Tower, it's a security check, as you can imagine. Y'all, they have, in the park of the Eiffel Tower, they have uniformed security guards that are walking around in fatigues with these M16s. And when I say finger on the trigger, ready to go. So if you want to nut, they're going to buck. And I'm not even joking when I say they're walking around with their hand on the trigger. It's like, it's very, very, very safe. You feel very safe, very secure. Getting into the Eiffel Tower, I was a little bummed at first because they said the top level was closed because it was windy. And you know, when you're at the very, very top of the Eiffel Tower, that wind, it's a safety issue. So sometimes they do reserve the right to close the very top. However, by the time that we got into the Eiffel Tower, the winds had subsided and they opened the top back up. You can choose to climb the Eiffel Tower by stairs. I wasn't doing that. Or you can choose to take the elevator. Now, as you can imagine, taking the elevator is going to take you quite a while. You're going to have to wait. time, and you just think about it and think about it. And when you finally get to do it, you know that feeling of, oh my God, I can't believe this is really happening. So we did get to go to the very, 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 very top of the Eiffel Tower. I think they call it the summit level, if I'm not mistaken, SOMMET or ETT or something like that. But it's the very top of the Eiffel Tower, and you get a view of the whole city. The Eiffel Tower, it is a park. It reminds you of maybe Centennial Park in Atlanta, or what is that park in New York? I can't think of it. I'll post it across the screen, but y'all know the park I'm talking about in New York, where you can take your blankets, have a picnic. They have park benches, they have street vendors, they have like little food vendors, all the things. So if you don't want to go into the Eiffel Tower and you just want to spend a day, by all means, you definitely can. It is a nice place to do it. And one thing I can say, it is extremely clean. Don't believe what you see on TikTok, because that footage that you see on TikTok of some of those people saying, oh, it's dirty, oh, it's this. I guarantee you that was caught on an off day when maybe some wind caught the trash that was in the trash receptacles and blew it around. But trust me when I say it is extremely clean. The streets in general in Paris are extremely clean. Every single day that we were there, their sanitation crew was collecting trash to keep those streets clean. That's all I'm saying about that. Don't believe everything you see on the TikTok, because everything you see is not true. Was something from my husband, and it was this fragrance. It's called Meteor. And if any of you have the fragrances, then you know that all of their fragrances come in a bottle that look like this. You can have them hot stamped if you want. He chose not to have his hot stamped because he just chose not to. But this is the first thing that he purchased. This was $260, I believe, which I think this is the same price as it is here in the States. Now, let me take a little cut across the field because I forgot to mention this. In France, things are cheaper to purchase, especially if you wanted to make a luxury purchase and you have plans on traveling internationally, not just to France, but to Milan, to London. If you are planning on traveling internationally and you've been thinking about making a luxury purchase, wait until you get there because things are cheaper. Then on top of that, you're going to get the tax back. It's called a vet tax. I think I'm saying that right. If it's not right, then I'll put it across the screen. But when you make your purchase, you're going to get a receipt with a tax refund. You're going to get some tax refund paperwork. I don't know why couldn't get that out. And what you do is when you get to the airport on your day of travel back into the States, you're going to go to the airport, go to the vet office, and they're basically going to give you a refund of the tax, basically. So the item that you purchase is going to be even cheaper than what you actually paid for it because they're going to give you a tax refund. So the next thing that we bought was also for my husband, and this was on like day 3. My husband wanted this Dior fragrance, and he did not have any interest in Dior. What happened was we were walking through the mall. We were actually getting ready to walk out the mall to go across the street to the other Louis Vuitton store, because I'm telling you, the mall is so big. They have multiple stores for multiple things. And we passed by one of the Dior counters, and he smelled this and he was like, that smells good. Well, we went on about our day, went back to the hotel, and he kept smelling it because the sample card that he sprayed it on was in his book bag. And he was just like, I gotta get that. We went back to the mall and we got this. This is called Dior Riviera. Now, this does smell really good, I will say. Now, this one, he did get hot stamped, and you can maybe see it right there. It has his name on it, and that is brushed in 24 karat gold. It says Gabriel, and it smells really good. It's kind of citrusy, but not like in a feminine way. I love the tables with all the archive pieces, all the archive pieces. They had this Goyard tote bag that was so beautiful. It was a tote bag about this big. It was all white, and they only wanted $800 for it. They did have this one Chanel bag, y'all. I was this close to getting it. Then let me just say also, I did not film in the store because they didn't allow me to film, and I respected that. The store, you have to ring a bell to get in, and when you ring that bell to get in, he is locking that door right behind you. So I respected the fact that you could not film, and I was perfectly okay with that. But they had this gold Chanel, I think it was from the 2005 Dubai collection. It was a medium flat bag, and they had Swarovski crystals around the Chanel logo. They wanted $3,000 for the bag. $3,000 for a Chanel. Even pre-love, that is unheard of. I held that bag in my hand and I cradled her like a baby, and I'm like, do I really want you? The answer was no, because I just didn't feel like I would have gotten a lot of use out of it. It definitely would have been a collector's edition. I probably could have easily sold that bag for probably about $6,000 or $7,000 easily, because it is a rare bag. You can't really find it anymore, but I didn't get her. The store was not that big, but it was jam-packed with archive pieces that are extremely hard to find, and the prices were really good. I also went to this that was 2 levels, and they also carried like high-end items like Dior, vintage Louis Vuitton. I mean, child, all the things. So when I walked into this store, first of all, I didn't even know it was 2 levels until I saw people coming from downstairs, and I'm like, oh, do you have things upstairs? She was like, yeah. But when I walked into the store, I immediately saw this Emilio Pucci sequin skirt that was gorgeous. I wanted her bad, but these hips was not gonna lie to me and tell me that I could fit that skirt. Went upstairs, y'all, they had this, and I still have regret, extreme regret, that I did not get that coat. They had this yellow Louis Vuitton wool coat that had a belt that had Louis Vuitton written in this baby blue. Y'all, that coat was so freaking pretty, and I tried the coat on. I loved it. My husband said, are you gonna get it? I was like, no. Where am I gonna wear it? Y'all know I live in Florida. We don't really have winters here. We just, you know, like I always say, we just have some cold days, but winters we don't have. So I'm like, golly, man, this coat is beautiful. I can't find that coat nowhere online. So when I tell y'all, the things that you find in Paris are things that you will not find here in the States. Believe me, I still have, like I said, extreme regret about not buying that coat. I posted that coat on my Facebook page. If I could show y'all the DMs of people saying, get it from me, I'll send you the money, blah, 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 blah. Why you didn't get the coat, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes you gotta know when to hold them and know when to fold them. I wish that was one time I would have held it, because Listen, if I would have bought that coat and brought it back here to the States and walked out with that coat, I guarantee you people would have been like, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? Because it's stuff that you don't find here in the States. So out of the same thrift store, I did end up buying this Kurt Geiger tweed bag. This is the Kensington. Now this bag, y'all, and this bag, the strap on this is longer. What I did was I just did a zip tie right here so that I can make it a top handle instead of a shoulder handle. But this bag, it is tweed, and I've always wanted a Kurt Geiger, but some of his bags can lend a little gaudy. And although I've always wanted one of his bags, I've never just I know ain't nothing but an old mean man make those shoes, because ain't no woman make no shoe that pretty and it's that uncomfortable. However, these definitely were designed by a man, and he told you off the bat, my shoes gonna hurt, but they gonna look good on your feet, and they do. So this is not a shoe that you can wear all night. It ain't. You can see it's very flat right here in the front. There's no platform to absorb the shock. So do whatever you will with that information. But the shoe looks beautiful on the foot. How much did I pay? I paid $745 for the shoe, and then I got the tax back once I got to the airport. Again, I don't remember what it was. But so the $745 that I spent was even less because I got tax back. Now, there was also a Louboutin purse that I wanted. I saw that on the first day we went to the mall, and the purse was $1,390. The purse was 1,390 euros. I keep wanting to say dollars, and I think y'all, when I say dollars, I mean euros. I got the American Y'all, when I say dollars, I mean euros. Y'all know what I mean. The shoes were 745 euros minus the tax that I got. On the first day that we went to the mall, I also saw a Louboutin purse. They don't carry it here in the States. It's exclusive to Paris. It's a bucket style purse, and I think it comes in black, nude, red, white, and black. Really? I think it comes in black, nude, red, white, green, and yellow, I believe. Really cute purse. It has a signature red bottom, hence red bottom. And I was gonna buy that the first day that I was there. I told my husband, I said, let me think about it. Let me walk away and think about it. When I went back on the day that I bought those shoes, he asked me, he said, are you gonna get the purse? I said, you know what? I don't like it as much the second day. So that's what I mean about not being an impulse shopper. I was gonna buy it the first day because I loved it and it was exclusive to Paris. So I know nobody else here would have it unless they had gone to Paris and purchased it. But I just didn't like it as much as I did as the first day I saw it, so I left it. So the shoes are the only thing, so the shoes and the purse are the only thing that I ended up bringing back with me from Paris. And be honest, I don't really regret it. I did go into Zara. Zara there is amazing. Didn't buy anything. Zara clothes fit a little funny on me because I'm curvy, I have a big butt, you know, I'm a little on the thicker side, I ain't slim and trim. So sometimes things don't look as good on me as they might on someone else. Tells you how much things are impacted with inflation. So $4,755 versus the $3,100 it would have cost me last year. You know, I didn't regret it. I felt like for where we stayed, the flight, I felt like it was, I felt like it was okay. I wasn't tripping about that. What did we use as far as money while we were there? So foreign exchange currency, you can order your foreign currency through your local bank. Your credit unions do not provide foreign currency. You'll have to go to a bank. Some banks do offer same-day foreign currency exchange. Most banks, you have to order it, and it takes a couple days before you can get it back. Also, if you fly into an international hub, if you're flying internationally, you will fly into a hub. They have foreign exchange currency services on site. We got 400 euros. It is not a dollar for dollar swap. There is an exchange rate and there is a fee. So for the 400 euros that we purchased, it cost us $533 in US money. So just keep that in mind when you're purchasing your foreign currency. Now, how much did we spend while we were there? We spent about, I want to say when we tallied everything up, we probably spent about $2,600 maybe. And that was with food, that was with transportation, that was with the tickets into the exhibits, that was with spending the things that we purchased. So, not bad overall. We are American Express Platinum card holders, which, side note, don't ever use your debit card when you are traveling abroad, ever. Just don't do it. Use your credit card, don't use your debit card. So we use our American Express Platinum card. We didn't pay for the trip on the card. The trip was paid for out of our regular account. So the trip was paid for, a little while ago. But as far as when we were over there, we chose to use our American Express Platinum card to use as our method of paying for things. What I will say about the American Express Platinum card, it is a great card. You get points on everything you spend. With this Paris trip, we racked up probably, I think when I checked, it was like 93,000 points or something like that. Child, I don't know the points conversion. I don't know how they calculate what is going to get points and how many points. I don't know. I just know when I looked at my account, it said we had 93,800 some odd points. I'll take it. However, what I will say about the American Express Platinum card, the next time I do book a trip, whether it be domestic or international, I am going to book it on my American Express Platinum card because the perks that come along with that are second to none. You get hotel credits if you book through American Express. You get concierge service if you book your trip through American Express. If you are in the need of a rental car, you get bumped up to the status where you can pick a car out of the top tier. And then when you're bringing the car back, you get 4 hours added on to your return time. If you book a Hilton or Marriott, then you are automatically bumped into the elite status, which puts you in a category where they automatically upgrade your room. Your airline ticket, you get with your platinum card, you get it includes TSA pre-check. Now, I ain't know none of this before I booked my trip because I had that card and just had never used it and failed to do the research on the benefits. And if I'm being quite honest, y'all, I got that card because one of my sorority sisters, she got the card and she sent me a referral link. She said, hey, y'all are going on a trip soon. Apply for this card. And I was like, okay. So I applied for the card. I was approved. I got the card. And that's really the only reason why I got the card. However, now that we are back from Paris and doing the research on everything on all the benefits that card has, best believe the next trip, whether it be international or domestic, will be booked on that card. Now, what I will say is the platinum card does not have a spending limit. So if you are a person that is tempted by spending, I'm gonna just say you're gonna have to exercise some extreme restraint because the card don't have a bottom on it. I'm telling you, it just don't. Now, as I said before, I'm not an impulse shopper. So I kept in the forefront of my mind, okay, girl, you gotta come back here and live. So, you keep that in mind when you are swiping that card. Now, we had a budget to spend over in Paris and we came in well below. I was quite shocked, but I was very happy about that. But those are all the benefits that you get with the car. In addition to, you get access to the Centurion Lounge, to the Centurion lounges in the airport, and those are lounges where you can go in. They have shelves that you get free food, you get free drinks. It's just a place where you could go to relax while you're waiting on your flight, especially if you have an extended layover. So would I recommend the American Express Platinum card? Yes, I will. However, exercise extreme caution and realize that there is no spending limit. So when you swipe, remember, you're gonna have to pay. Okay, so, but it is a great card. I will recommend it. But that is going to be it for a recap of my Paris trip. I thank you guys so much for watching. If you all are planning to travel internationally, the first thing I'll say is go. There's a whole world out there to see, and it's just waiting on you to come and see it. I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, y'all.